Hi, students. Welcome back. Today's topic, we're focusing on Renaissance arts and how it is different from medieval arts. Before we start, a couple of things that I notice is answers are not being done in complete sentences. Another thing that I notice is that you are taking the exit ticket before you do the work, and that's not how that works. Please take your time. If you need to go back and look at the screencast again, please do so. I cover everything in the screencast. Before we start, let's go over the exit ticket, the most recent exit ticket. There's only 66 of you that have taken it, and it is about 4:30. So please don't wait till the last moment. The first question is asking which of these is most likely a medieval piece. It is A and B and C because they lack realism, they don't have perspective, and they are also religious, which is not like the one thing that makes them medieval. It's just that they are not realistic and they don't have background. If you pick this option is incorrect because medieval period they did not have nudity. Okay, and a work of art perspective is a sense of depth or three dimension. Which of the following is a statue in relief? A statue in relief means that it is attached to the wall. This one is attached to the wall, and this one is attached to the wall. This one and this one are freestanding, and these are Renaissance pieces. Which of the following is a main patron of the Middle Ages? It is, it's a Catholic church. Someone said wealthy merchants and bankers, and that's the answer they wrote on their questions in classroom. So I don't know if you got the answer from here and you put it in classroom, but it doesn't work that way. You have to do the work first and then do the exit ticket. Which of the following is true about medieval art and sculpture? Its purpose was to teach about the topic, and the last one is the background was mostly gold leaf. I appreciate that most of you are doing what I'm asking you to do, but there's a number of you that are not doing what I'm asking you to do. So I am in contact with your parents on a daily basis. I'm going to be texting parents at 5 to let them know that some of your answers are just wrong or incorrect, or they need to be edited. Like I said, today we're focusing on Renaissance arts. Some of these slides you already saw already, so that's it's gonna be okay. Here you go. So yesterday we focused on medieval and Renaissance, mainly medieval. Today we're focusing on Renaissance and also comparing it to medieval. So on the left-hand side, you have a medieval painting, not realistic, no background, no sense of realism. The angels look much smaller than the two main figures. On the right side, you have a Renaissance painting, one of the most famous in the world, the Mona Lisa. You see a sense of realism with her face. It looks like a person. You have a sense of background. Her face looks like it has emotion. Da Vinci spent years studying the human body so that when he painted them, they looked realistic. He dissected bodies when they're dead, obviously, to make sure that he understood muscle movement, that he understood what people look like underneath the flesh, so that when he painted them, he was able to do an accurate depiction of what people actually look like. So we went over this yesterday. Medieval faces have no expression. On the Renaissance, faces have expression. They have pain, they have joy, they have sorrow. There is expression. On the medieval paintings, it is a very kind of flat, expressionless feel. Okay, short quiz. This is A, this is B, C, and D. Which of these are Renaissance and which of these are medieval? What do you think? I'll give you a second to think about it. Again, this is B, C, and D. A little more than a second there. Shout out to Xavier for doing his work on time today. Shout out to Angel Lopez for being amazing. Okay, if you picked, so let's do medieval first. Which of these are medieval? B is medieval and C are medieval. And here's the reason why. They are not realistic. They lack expression. Not realistic. Look at Jesus. Look at the Virgin Mary. She's huge. They lack expression. That means that there's no sense of emotion. There is no sense of perspective or depth. These people look like they're stacked on top of each other. And there's no background. There is no background. It's gold leaf. Renaissance, this is Renaissance, and this is Renaissance. And here's a couple reasons why. Actually, think about it. Why is it Renaissance? Why is A and D Renaissance? A is Renaissance because it's much more realistic. The baby looks like a baby. Same thing with this one. Baby looks like a baby. There is more emotion in these faces. There is more emotion in these faces. There's like a sense of movement here. And there's background in the back. There's a sense of depth, a natural landscape. Here, gold leaf. Here, background. There's also some nudity here. Okay, we'll move on. Some of the, even people that don't know arts have heard of Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, probably because of the Ninja Turtles, but these names come from real people. These people became very famous during the Renaissance because they were masters at what they did. Michelangelo was a master painter, master sculptor. Leonardo was a master painter. When I say master, I mean master. And a master engineer. He was considered a Renaissance man. These people become incredibly famous after they died. During the medieval period, I actually don't know of any artists in the medieval period. It goes to show you that in the Renaissance, people focus on the achievements of individuals, not just for religious purposes. One of the biggest differences in medieval and Renaissance is in the Renaissance, they study the classics and they study humanism. Humans are important. Human beauty is important. They people of the Renaissance want to study the human body so that when they paint it, they are able to show the human body in its greatest form in an accurate way. They study many years. They study bodies. They study science just to figure out how a body looks like when it turns, or how a muscle looks like when it's stretched. Which of these is Renaissance and which of these is medieval? A and B. If you said B is medieval, you are incorrect. A is medieval. This is Renaissance. On the left, you see the Virgin Mary again. Not much of an emotion with Jesus, who doesn't look like a real baby. The telltale sign here is the background, the gold leaf. Lack of emotion, lack of realism, and especially if you look at their necks, there's something odd about the way that looks. Here, if we go to, this is in the Sistine Chapel, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, created by Michelangelo. Here you see what real people look like. Now, most guys don't look like Adam, right? This is what a guy that works out. This is the ultimate human beauty. But this is what people look like. You see the muscles. You see the muscles. You see the muscles. You see the clavicle here. It is proportionally correct. It is anatomically correct. This is the moment when God gives life to Adam. The ceiling is covered in stories from the Old Testament. Here's Eve. Okay. This drawing is created by Michelangelo in the Renaissance. These are sketches created by Leonardo da Vinci, where he studied the human body, anatomy of the human body, and it is as a result of this reason that he is able to create very realistic paintings of people. Here's the Last Supper of the Middle Ages. Here's the Last Supper of Leonardo in the Renaissance. No sense of perspective. The table looks flat. Here the table looks like it's actually holding plates. No background. Here you can tell that there's a background here. There's a vanishing point here, right? You can tell that this spot here in the ceiling is in front of this spot. You can tell that this window is behind these people. Renaissance art had focused a lot on nature and being able to show the world, not just focusing on religion. This is linear perspective in its most important form. So linear perspective simply means having a background, having a sense of depth. Medieval period did not have that. Renaissance does. Here you can tell that these people are larger because they are closer to the viewer. These people are further back because they are further from the viewer. Okay? To summarize, medieval art lacks realism. It is mostly religious, lacks emotion. The Renaissance, it is much more realistic. It is less religious, so it's more secular, and has a sense of perspective or depth. The Renaissance is one of my most favorite time periods. We are gonna continue studying it. We're gonna focus on it tomorrow some more, and then we're also gonna focus on sculpture. You will be assessed on this. You will have a test on it. I will not ask you to define words because you'll just look them up online. Instead, I'm gonna give you 2 images and ask that you write a CE paragraph with your background information, telling me if it's medieval or Renaissance and why. In order to do that correctly or successfully, you will have to be able to use these terms and understand what they mean. I believe in all of you. You're amazing.